Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. As always happens with the releases of map packs on Xbox and PC, so that's the point at which they become available for everyone, Treyarch dropped a special music video for Zetsubou no Shima, and as soon as they dropped it, it got a load of people in the community talking because of the fact that in that video, it appears to show several characters dead. There are multiple shots in the trailer or in the music video, whichever you want to call it, that have dead characters in them, corpses of our playable characters on the floor, and there are a load of other interesting shots as well, with Takeo 1.0 giving us a little bit more of an insight into his backstory. What I'm going to do first of all in this video is I'm going to play a shortened version of the trailer that I've just cut up just now, and that way you can get a refresher so that your memory is nice and clear on exactly what is in the trailer without having to sit through like 6 minutes of music video, and then I'll be talking about exactly what this all means, because so many people have said, oh, this is Multiverse, and the characters are actually dying here, and Zetsubou is like a constant loop, and it's like Mob of the Dead, and all these things that I actually quite strongly disagree with, so I'll be explaining my take on things once we've watched the video.
We believed that rescue or escape would soon find us. We prayed to the spirits. They did not answer.
The object in your hand is gonna bring you nothing but pain. Believe me, I know.
Blinded by your own loyalty.
And lovely powder, another stable, all because blowing up, burning down around me. I keep finding death, calling out my name, and all the birds that once were singing are now screaming out in pain that I can feel. The fruit is ripening, but it's rotten to the core. They'll rhyme and lightning, a skeleton made of ash and hope. And so no beginning, and there's no end. They're just dead again. Blood isn't running, isn't pumping in my heart, and when I sing about the flowers,
None of us choose the means by which mercy will find us.
The wind is blowing and they're growing all the time, and all the leaves will need to fall. Find all the flowers, kill them all. Show me the beauty in the air, glow ash and amber everywhere, gasping and reaving breaths of air, and let the beating hearts beware.
This realm may have been corrupted and consumed by evil.
Flowers now, but they die in the thousands of swirling clouds around us. This life keeps knowing dead flowers now, and I see right now, no escape, and now I see
Alright, lovely. What does that all mean? Well, there are a few separate things that are being told to the viewer, in my opinion, in this music video. First of all, let's start off with the extra sort of color that is being added to Takeo 1.0's backstory. Originally, we learnt about Takeo 1.0's story in the letter to the Emperor, in which he discusses the fact that he's had his weapons taken away, Division 9 are doing all these completely inhumane experiments at this island facility, and he's really rather unhappy with it, but he has complete faith in the Emperor and in the Emperor's decisions, and as such he follows through with his orders and says that he's going to stay loyal. Then, thanks to the Zet Easter egg and some other various tidbits that we find around the maps, we learn that Takeo essentially was loyal for no good reason because the orders came from the Emperor himself, as we all know, and things really went downhill for Takeo 1.0 very quickly. He was imprisoned in a cell below the waves. That's where honor suffers, as that cipher told us so long ago. And now, in this particular music video, what we're being shown and what we're not shown at any other time, and what hasn't been discussed at any other time really, is some of the trials and tribulations that Tak 1.0 went through on the island, asking questions and trying to get into areas where people didn't want him and people didn't want to respond to him or even have him there in the first place, and he was making all those moves, and so what they probably did is they said, okay, we're taking your weapons away, you want to see the spider? Yeah, we're gonna go see the spider, mate. We're going down there, here we go, we're gonna hold you in place and make you shake in fear in this giant spider's midst and really give you a case of the heebie-jeebies. Like he said, they're inhumane experiments, and as such, it's not exactly something that he would want to be privy to, but he was doing it due to his loyalty to the Emperor, which was ultimately betrayed, and that's why when in the Easter egg you find out that there's been that betrayal, Takeo from Origins says, maybe this world's been corrupted, maybe there's some great evil sort of infecting the events that have happened in this universe, and I mean, surely this isn't the way that my Emperor would react and my Emperor would act, is it? So he's trying to sort of justify things because he just can't believe that the Emperor would betray him. Now that we've cleared that up, let's talk about the probably much more important thing of these dead characters. In order to really understand those particular scenes, we need to take a much more holistic look at the entire music video. We see several shots in here showing the characters going about their activities inside the map, like whether it's the imprint pods or building the KT-4, but the thing is, the way those shots are shown to us, the lighting, the angles, the tempo, the cadence, the whole thing is all geared towards giving us a perspective that we don't really get very often. It's the perspective of, holy cow, these are real people with real emotions, and they're really suffering here. Going through all of this, despite the fact that in the old games with Black Ops 1, the characters are all carefree and jolly and everything's a bit silly and it's quite goofy, these characters are really having a tough time, and it is playing on their minds. Obviously, in the map, there are heaps of hallucinations, heaps of weird little screams you can hear if you go and hold square on a tree root or a skull or whatever. There's loads of stuff like that, and that reflects the fact that our characters are no longer in a very stable state of mind. Sure, the gas is enhancing that, and it's making it even worse, but when we're seeing this shot, for example, of Takeo sitting down and in front of him there are the corpses of his friends, well, friends, quote-unquote. They're not really necessarily friends per se, but his allies, his teammates here, his crew, dead in front of him, and he's looking at his hands and going, oh my god, what have I done? Or what could I do? If my teammates die, will it be my fault? Am I responsible for their well-being now? If I mess up, it's all over. There's so much responsibility there. Bear in mind, these characters have gone from being envoys of their respective countries or whatever, and they've traveled into northern France to investigate the German war machine, and they've now gone through the most ridiculous journey, and they're suddenly trying to save the universe? Like, this is not small stuff, and it's going to weigh on your mind and on your conscience and on your psyche if you're just a regular Joe who's just trying to do his job for the Emperor, or just trying to do his job for his country or his family or whatever. That shot specifically where we see Tak and he's looking at his hands is really a Macbeth sort of, is this a dagger I see before me moment, where in his head, he is completely falling apart because he's got so much weighing on his mind that he just begins to envision his dead friends in front of him, as if it's his actual reality. We know, in fact, that Takeo has prophecies of the future. He does have some kind of link in there with the spirits of his ancestors or whatever it is. He does have that capacity in his head, and so that ability would no doubt be corrupted slightly by not only all the 115 that he's constantly been around, but also the fact that he's been going through so much on this journey. As good old Richtofen says, the road ahead is long and dark. but I know where we are going. And when he says that, he really means that it's a long road and it's a dark road. Tak has just had to assist his own self in committing suicide. The implications of that sort of thing have got to mess with your mind. They've just got to. And so what we're seeing in these shots, in this trailer, is a reflection of the fact that every single one of our characters is having a pretty tough time. There's another really nice shot in here of Tak looking at the summoning key, and he's surrounded by the rest of the crew, and he's looking at it as if it's the devil incarnate, like he's completely horrified by the object in his hand. And again, it's just another method that Treyarch are employing to hit home this really important sentiment that this is difficult. This is not an easy road that these four heroes are trying to walk. If it was easy, it would be a lot less epic, it would be a lot less interesting, it would probably take a lot less time, and it would be a lot more boring for the player. And as such, they're really trying to hammer home the idea that this is a really rather nasty situation for these people to be in. And yet, they still are resilient, and they're going to keep fighting, and they're going to get to DLC 3, and take out Nikolai 1.0, and then get to DLC 4, and wrap things up. So to go back to what I said at the beginning of the video, I do not think that this is a representation of the multiverse. I do not think what we're seeing here is Tak sitting down and his friends being actually dead in front of him, and him going, oh, well, guess we botched this one. Hopefully the Origins characters in a different universe can sort this one out for us and actually succeed and then move on to Stalingrad and then DLC 4. I don't think that's what we're seeing at all. I think we're seeing this one set of characters who are just having an extremely tough time. And in that extremely tough time, when there's a little bit of downtime, when they can sit down and have a rest and reflect, they realize and they come to terms with the fact, or they start to, that they've been deeply affected by their journey. And there's still a long way to go. There's no doubt going to be some people that don't want to take any emotion from this. They don't want to see that as being the message that is trying to be conveyed. But honestly, I really think that's what Treyarch is going for here. Jason has said in the past that he's really proud of all those music videos, and he really puts a lot of time into conveying messages with them. And as such, if we're to brush this off and say, oh yeah, this came out a couple of months ago, we shouldn't be thinking about this now, then we're missing out on vital information about the story that is being told. Which is why I'm making this video now, which is why I really think that this isn't just a throwaway, it's the multiverse, yay! I don't think that's what we're seeing here for the slightest moment, and hopefully you guys are on board with me. If not, then that's fine also. Leave a comment with your opinion, be respectful, let's get a discussion going, guys. Be interested to hear what you say. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video though, leave a like if you have, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.